Red October has come and gone, but with Team Toyota's home field advantage, you'll score even more savings this offseason. Choose from our winning lineup of new Toyotas, like Corollas, Camrys, RAV4s, and Highlanders, all in stock for immediate delivery. Or ship over 200 certified used Toyotas with MVP pricing to deliver quality and value. And when it comes to service and collision repair, our team gets you back in the game fast. So visit us in Langhorne, Princeton, or Glen Mills, or take a swing online at teamtoyota.net. You are listening and or watching the Phillies Talk podcast presented by Team Toyota. I am Spencer McKercher, once again joined by Bob Cooney on our last day down here in the winter meetings in Orlando. And Bob, I'm exhausted.
You work too much.
I'm exhausted, man. It was a great time down here in Orlando. Per usual, though, a lot of fun times here in Orlando at the winter meetings. But really, I guess the big news of the day, baseball-wise, we'll start with that. Pete Alonso is out of the division. And it sounds like a lot of Mets fans are none too pleased with the decision, especially when it comes to find out that really the Mets didn't offer him the amount of years and the amount of money that Pete was looking for. So he ends up with the Baltimore Orioles, goes to the American League East, and kind of slots into an already dangerous lineup in Baltimore.
Big lineup in Baltimore, right? That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's funny. I went to a Baltimore's last playoff game last year when they lost like 1-0 or something. And it was just like Philadelphia, the Sports Talk radio down there. I have family down there. But yeah, Alonso leaving the division. Okay, see you. Goodbye.
See ya.
No problem. Edwin Diaz leaving the Mets. Hey, see you. Goodbye.
See ya.
Can't fathom being a Mets fan right now.
I cannot either.
That's not what it's about. That's not what it's about for us. It's about the Philadelphia Phillies.
That's exactly right. And really, the other big news of the day, Phillies-wise, we'll get to the Rule 5 draft and we'll get to a small trade that the Phillies made today. But really, we heard from Kyle Schwarber right at noon today on Wednesday. And in a typical Kyle Schwarber fashion, there was only, maybe 8 answers, all strung out from 3 to 5 minutes long from Kyle. And that's who Kyle is, and that's why we appreciate him so much. But a lot to take away from it. And I think my main takeaway was, one, how much he loves his fan base. He alluded to the Declaration of Independence that was signed by workers at Citizens Bank Park, signed by fans, and he admitted that he actually has it in his possession now. And I think that goes to show, in reality, how important the fan base is to Kyle Schwarber and how important that Kyle Schwarber is to the fan base. Oh,
no question about it. And we have a story of being on the road when he got his 1,000th hit, and it was a home run. And a guy caught it and came to get Kyle asked if he wanted him to sign it, and the kid said, "No, I just want you to sign a contract and stay here." Those stories resonate with Kyle Schwarber, and so many things. The way the Phillies back his foundations and all the community work that he and his wife do here in the city. I talk about takeaways. You could tell he really studied every little aspect of everything with all the teams that he talked to, and ultimately he came back to Philadelphia.
He did, and thank goodness he did, and we can't say it enough, and glad Kyle Schwarber is back. Also, there was a Cincinnati reporter on the Cincinnati Enquirer who inquired about, hey, was it enough opportunity with the Reds or what? And Kyle kind of deflected the answer, but obviously he did mention how important. That's all good. By the way, we are if you're watching on YouTube, we're in a new location. This is outside. Yeah, it's good podcasting, but it's outside.
We tried to get out in the sun, but our hours went too long. And all of a sudden, it was nighttime.
It was. Because it's beautiful out here. Check out Bob's hit on Sportsnet Central on NBC Sports Philadelphia tomorrow.
We were outside then. That's
we
right.
were outside for that. So check that out in the morning on Thursday morning. So if you hear people around there, it's kind of still busy here in the winter meetings on Wednesday night. Going back though, like the Cincinnati thing, he kind of deflected it to a point. He didn't really want to go too much into detail, his exact words, but I think it is still cool that he had the respect for the Reds organization. He was traveling around. They went to Cincinnati, heard their talks. He went to Baltimore, heard their talks, who offered him the same contract he did with the Phillies, but it was always going to be the Phillies.
Yeah, and it was amazing throughout the season, especially the last part of the season when the Phillies were on the road and, you're sitting up in the press box hours before the game and you're like, oh, there's Schwarber out there talking to somebody else from the other team, and so he's heard all the pitches. But he is such a good individual that he thinks and he believes, I should say, that teams deserve his respect and to listen and to ask the questions and to get all the information he found pertinent in order to make the decision that he made. And I don't think he left any stone unturned, he and his wife. I really do believe that if something better were have come, and we're not just talking money. People have to listen. We're not just talking money. It really isn't that. If something wasn't met that he really wanted, I don't think, I think that would play a big part in him not going there. And as it turns out, the Phillies obviously give him everything he wants besides the money, and that's why he's back.
It is, and it's funny you mentioned his wife. His wife, Paige, they're expecting their third child, their first daughter. They have 2 sons currently. But it's funny, he was saying, like, she's due any minute, really. And they were kind of worried, hey, like, God forbid if they were on the road traveling to some of these places and she went to labor, who knows what would happen. So thank goodness they're staying at home in Philadelphia. What are some other takeaways from Kyle's availability today from you?
So he was asked about it, had he reached out to JT Realmuto. It was good in that he said, well, I'm not going to lie. I would be lying if I said I didn't say, hey, how's it going? But then he immediately goes to, but I have to respect that he has a decision to make for what's best for him and his family. So I don't think it's the right time to say, come back. He said, because he's going through his process. That just lends to what kind of person Kyle Schwarber is and why I think the Phillies deemed it so important to bring him back.
I agree.
It's more than baseball with him.
It really is. And he talked about the charity work. He mentioned that in all the meetings with the teams, he brought that up. His charity work means a lot to him and his family. And the fact that, that teams were listening to, hey, like, we're going to bring this huge charitable cause no matter where we go. But the fact that it's staying in Philly, he has Kyle's Heroes, which is at Yards Brewing every year.
Right.
He does a lot for the community, and Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson have both alluded to that throughout the week of how important he is to the clubhouse, to the organization, and to himself and helping the community as well. So we can't say enough about Kyle Schwarber, and I'm really glad he's back. And it was good to see him. He was obviously fired up about his Indiana Hoosiers winning the Big Ten title over the Ohio State Buckeyes last Saturday.
I don't understand. Why isn't he an Ohio State Buckeye fan being from Ohio? Did he go to Indiana?
He went to Indiana.
I didn't know that.
He did.
That's funny. When it came up today, I didn't know that he spent time in Indiana.
He was the College Game Day guest picker last year when I think they played Ohio State, I believe, in Indiana. It's good podcasting again, but somewhere along the lines, Kyle Schwarber was on College Game Day, and he remains a Philadelphia Philly here. Some other news, and in my opinion, this is more important than the smaller trade that they made. They lost Griff McGarry today. Yeah. In the Rule 5 draft. He was selected 3rd overall by the Washington Nationals, so he stays in the division. But the Paul Owens Award for pitching this past season, the 2025 Paul Owens Award for pitching, which goes to the best minor league player, pitching and hitting wise. Griff McGarry made it. At one point, McGarry was ranked 2nd as the Phillies' 2nd-rated prospect. Yeah. Just never got here. And Dave mentioned when we talked to him in the suite after the Rule 5 draft, he said, hey, we wish Griff the best. He just never had that command to make it to the big leagues. I thought he had a chance to make the team this season because he really had a strong 2025 season, especially when you look at winning the Paul Owens Award. Right. I thought he had a chance to make the bullpen this year, but nonetheless, Griff McGarry's at Washington National. It surprised me how it went from, if we were to talk to Dave Dombrowski or anybody during the season about Griff McGarry, oh yeah, exactly where we want him to be, all that. Today, when we asked Dombrowski about him, it was kind of, well, we didn't think he was going to make it up. And it was just a total boop turn off. Bingo. Don't know if something happened there. Not going to speculate at all. But it was, that was interesting because you and I were standing in there, and when pick number 3 came to the Nationals, you and I looked at each other like, whoa, Griff McGarry. It was shocking. Yeah, and we looked at each other, but I immediately went to Dave Dombrowski, who was standing. Yeah, he was standing about 10 feet to our left. And not an almost like he expected it. Yep. And we asked Dave yesterday during the entire, suite availability, whatever you want to call it. And he said, there could be some guys selected, but they didn't seem too worried about it. And clearly, I guess they weren't too worried about it. I guess they weren't. No, I guess their love affair with Griff McGarry seemed to have gone away. Or maybe they just have to make it go away, being as somebody else loves them more. Bingo. Right now. Yeah. And it's funny, if you're listening to the pod, I talk about my time down in spring training a lot, talking to some of these younger prospects. So now I've talked to Starlin Caba, who's with the Marlins organization, and the Jesus Luzardo trade. And then I talk to Griff all the time. I talk to McCambley all the time. So all these guys are kind of slowly going away. Maybe it's you. Maybe it is me. I mean, I talk to Painter. We're gonna hold on to him, hopefully.
Yeah, I think he'll be around for a little while. Yeah, but
let's hope so.
But it might have something to do with it.
But it is Griff. Griff was one of the nicest guys I've met, and I feel like I've said that a lot about these prospects. But he took his time out. It's actually funny. Quick story about Griff. So we were set to interview him. I interviewed 8 prospects throughout the day. Started at 7 a.m. Griff was supposed to be right around 12:30. Well, Griff forgot. And so I'm calling the Phillies PR, and I'm like, hey, man, it's like 12:30. Don't see anything. And he's like, hold on. So then he gets me in contact with the minor league PR team. They're like, oh, Griff, I think just left. And I was like, he just left. And I'm sitting out in the Florida sun, dying, getting sunburned because I forgot to put sunscreen on. And all of a sudden, Griff actually gets my number. I get this random call. Answered, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm sprinting back. I'm speeding.
Oh, cool.
He's like, I'm passing red lights. I'm running through red lights and all that stuff. And he made it back. I know. That's what I said. I was like, no, dude, take your time. We'll figure it out. But that's just, I think, goes to show the character that Griff McGarry is. And I think he's going to fit in well with the Nationals. And heck, you never know. We might see him
We might see him. Somebody, I don't know who we were talking to, or I overheard a conversation that he might be with them in May.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's my prediction. I think it wouldn't surprise me. We could even see him on the opening day roster for the Washington Nationals, and maybe seeing a start against Griff McGarry. I hope the best for him, and hopefully it's a fresh new start with the Washington Nationals for Griff McGarry. And continuing with the Rule 5 draft, some more news with the Phillies. They actually did make a selection, 12th overall pick. It was crazy because being at the Rule 5 draft the last 2 years, you don't see a lot of teams pass like that, at least in my opinion.
Oh, they pass like crazy.
The one in Dallas last year, I said it took a little bit longer because, you had to walk up to the stage to make your selection. This was quick, and we were in and out in 15 minutes. But a lot of teams did pass. So the Phillies, who end up having the 29th picked 12th. That's how many teams passed. 17 teams passed until the Phillies selected. And they select Zach McCambley from the Marlins. Their AAA roster, 26 years old, was the 75th overall draft pick in the 3rd round in the 2020 MLB draft. Right-handed bullpen arm. Dave Dombrowski said, hey, we're going to probably see him in the bullpen. We'll see what he does if he can make the roster in spring training. But it's an exciting right-handed arm, and it's the first time that the Phillies kept their Rule 5 draft pick since 2016. It was 10 years since the last time the Phillies have kept the Rule 5 draft pick.
Yeah, a guy that they're looking to get out right-handed hitters, they said. He's very difficult to hit against if you're a right-handed hitter, and somebody that they would bring out of the bullpen to look to do that. They got plenty of room on that roster, on that 40-man roster. I think, what are they up to, 31 now? 32?
No, 35 now.
Oh, 35. Okay, so still some spots to fill.
Yep.
Going to be a lot of guys getting tryouts there, but they seem generally excited about him. Like a heavy arm, relies heavily on the slider and fastball. So, like I said, against right-handed hitters, pretty deadly. Had a 2.90 ERA this past season in Double N AAA.
Mm-hmm. We'll take it.
I like that knowledge.
I think that's good knowledge.
I'm just saying, it just comes out naturally.
It's good stuff. That's great stuff. It is funny. He's a New Jersey native. He's been with the Marlins organization since he was drafted in the 3rd round in 2020. High velocity fastball, has great command of his cutter and his slider. Who knows? It'd be great to see McCambley at some point, but I can see him probably starting the year in AAA. But it's another name that could be tossed up into the big leagues in the bullpen at some point.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to hit a quick ad break on the other side of the ad break. The Phillies did make a minor trade today with the Tampa Bay Rays. We'll get into that and what could that mean for the Phillies, and we'll wrap up here at the winter meetings. But first, our friends at Philly Sports Strips. Sean Kane, the holidays are right around the corner. Do you need some holiday gift inspiration?
Who doesn't? Absolutely.
Well, escape the cold and catch the Phillies in Clearwater with NBC Sports Philadelphia and Philly Sports Trips. We're teaming up to bring fans the most unforgettable Philly spring training experience yet. This trip includes Phillies game tickets, beachfront accommodations, round-trip travel, all-inclusive tailgates, and much more. Plus, appearances from Larry Boa, Charlie Manuel, and NBC Sports Philadelphia's own Ben Davis.
Wow.
Can you imagine Benny down there with the fellas?
That's a party. Charlie, Larry, and Ben down there. I mean, sign me up. It looks like an awesome trip.
You and I will be down there. Book your trip today at phillysportstrips.com. Welcome back to Phillies Talk, presented by Team Toyota. I am Spencer McKercher, joined by Bob Cooney down here in the winter meetings in Orlando, in case you didn't know. Before the break, we mentioned that the Phillies made a small trade today, but kind of an intriguing one. They sent Tommy McCullum, a minor league guy, undrafted free agent from 2021, kind of stayed in the minor leagues for the last 3 or 4 years, but they acquire Yoniel Curet from the Tampa Bay Rays. Flamethrower, command issues, kind of had some injury problems last season. He missed half the season with a shoulder injury, but really an intriguing arm for the Phillies. Like I said, flamethrower, the guy throws gas. But the Rays DFA'd him to make a room on the 40-man roster for Cedric Mullins, who they signed right before the winter meeting started. But a guy like Curet is intriguing because he has options, right, Bob Cooney?
Yeah, I mean, look at the Phillies bullpen, and that's where he's going to land, if he lands anywhere. You have the three left-handers in Tanner Banks, in Alvarado, in Matt Strahm. You also have a Ryan Kerkering. Those guys are going to be the guys that take you to Johan Duran, okay? Now you have other 3 spots or whatever it may be to fill before that. So why not take some chances? And that's what they did. You know, they'll take a look. He does have options, which is a good thing. See what he has, and maybe possibility with the limited amount of people they have on their 40-man roster right now. Why not? Why not? And it's a shoulder shrug of, why not? Take a look at him and see what happens.
And just like McCambley, their Rule 5 draft pick, it could be an option to play in the Phillies bullpen. Like you mentioned, they have 3 spots open. They have 5 solidified in their bullpen right now. 23 years old is Curet. A lot of upside for a guy like that. He was signed out of the Dominican Republic in the Tampa Bay Rays organization when he was 18 years old. So now 5 years in, kind of going back between high A and double A. He did have a 3.90 ERA once he got back from that injury, but I think it is command really the big thing. But I think anytime you have a flamethrower like that, command is really your bigger issue no matter what.
Especially a young kid. A young kid, shouldered, coming back from injury. Where's your arm slot? Did you change it because of the injury, or things going a little bit differently that way? So, I think it's a no-brainer. You're going to see stuff like this with the Phillies from here probably until spring training. And McCambley's a guy that they like to go against right-handed hitters.
Bingo.
A right-handed guy who they say has a heavy cutter, good slider, good fastball.
97 plus.
Yeah, so a guy that they're looking to get out right-handed hitters, and that's what they'll concentrate on and see how that also plays out.
We could see. We'll see what the Phillies end up doing with Curet and McCambley, but for now, it's a small trade. It's news, so we had to talk about it.
That's right.
It's been a fun winter meetings. What was your favorite moment of the winter meetings besides
Probably
Kyle?
every morning getting out of my room and you coming out of your room and us getting ready to get over here to get started. But it's just good, the availability, sit and talk to Rob Thompson and Dave Dombrowski, and it's not all on the record seriousness. It's kind of just shooting the stuff every once in a while. Always like doing that. Seeing the people around here. I thought you had a good story this morning where you and I were separated and the Alonso news was starting to come out, but you were walking around and you did you see Jeff Passan and then you saw Ken Rosenthal?
Dude, it was hilarious.
They were both like looking and running and or whatever.
So I tweeted out, I was like, I think something's happening. And it's funny, I got some responses on my Twitter account that said it's something with the Phils. And I didn't respond to anybody, kind of keep them on their toes. And then literally 30 seconds later, the news comes out that Alonso signs with the Orioles. And I said that because I walk out, I just was like, all right, going to take a walk, stretch the legs a little bit. Went outside, and as soon as I walked out of the media room there, all of a sudden I saw Jeff Passan frantically look at his phone, make a few phone calls, sit down, and I saw him typing out the tweet that Alonso's going. So I kind of turned the corner. I saw Rosenthal. He's running in the hallway, and I was like, uh-oh. So something is happening. So I tweeted out, and then 30 seconds later got the Passan notification. But that's what the winter meetings are. It's so much fun to be here and see everybody, see all the national reporters that you hear about and see about all the time.
Boy, and they break down quick, don't they?
Dude, I'm shocked.
So just to give you, we have a big room, a big media room that we go into. We have to go through a long hallway to get there. And in the hallways, you'll have MLB Network has a stage as soon as you walk in where they're doing their TV stuff.
Huge.
But you'll see like The Athletic, and you'll see a whole bunch of different.
Our friends at SNY
outlets.
had a thing.
SNY was right over there. But man, when it's time to go, they're out. They're gone. They're not like me and Spencer who are here at 6:00 on a Wednesday night.
Come on now.
Everybody else is out having a nice dinner, a couple glasses of wine. No, we're grinding.
And have you ever seen more suitcases in a lobby in your life?
Oh my God, they were lined up like it
was probably 10 rows deep.
It reminded me of an auto place for cars for sale back in the day when they were really big. There was just lined up everywhere. Yeah.
It was insane.
It was crazy.
And it's funny because you and I mentioned last year in Dallas, we had Thursday. Thursday was the Rule 5 draft in the morning, and then that was kind of it. But we got here Wednesday, and everyone was dipped out of here.
Yeah. Everybody had a suitcase except for the two of us.
Yeah, we still got one more day here.
Yeah.
We still got one more
grinding.
day, which is funny because Dave Dombrowski did say that today on Wednesday. He said, hey, we're still here till Thursday. Don't know what that means. My prediction of JT Realmuto did not come true. I still think that's going to happen here in the next few days, maybe weeks. But I just got the sense that JT would probably sign today. But I think you mentioned earlier today, I think the Kyle Schwarber presser kind of was like, oh, okay, I don't think they're going to announce any news on Wednesday. But Heck, we could see JT Realmuto sign even tomorrow on Thursday or sometime this weekend. Going into it to wrap up, what do you expect now? So the winter meetings are done. What do you expect the Phillies' rest of their plan? They have plan A already in place. I still think plan 1A is to get JT back. Plan 1B or plan A2, I guess, if you want to say it like that, is
I'm getting confused.
Who knows? I know. It's been a long day. This podcast is all over the place. What do you expect for the next few weeks?
There's got to be a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't just say they got Schwarber and Realmuto's here too. Boom. No. What's your outfield?
Mm-hmm.
What's their plan with Bryson Stott at second base? Is he still not going to face left-handers? Is that still a platoon? Are they comfortable with Alec Boehm? Are they dangling him? And if he stays, are they comfortable with him playing 140 games at third base or maybe even more? But the outfield, I can't say it enough. I'm not there yet. I'm not there. If you're platooning an Otto Kemp and a Brandon Marsh, and you're going with a Justin Crawford, and then what what else do you have? Like, what else is going on out there? Who am I missing? I'm missing somebody. Brandon Marsh, Justin Crawford, Otto Kemp.
That's about it right now.
It's just
Nick Castellanos is probably gone. Harrison Bader is gone.
Yeah,
Yohan Ross is still available, but
I don't know. I did a radio thing earlier today, and they were asking like, "Oh, well, things are set." And I'm like, "Really?
No.
Look at the outfield.
Things are not set,
and it's just not there." So I know they're looking for a big right-handed bat, but maybe they have to change directions. Maybe they have to go with a small hitting somebody that just gets on base all the time that plays the outfield. I don't know, but there's a lot of work to be done.
I still think that they're going to acquire some sort of center fielder. I don't think Harrison Bader's coming back.
Yeah,
because they already said his market's kind of shaping up to be 3 years in the $10 to $15 million range. He just declined his option for $10 million for next year. So I still think it's probably going to be 12 to 15. In between $10 and $15 million for 3 years for Harrison Bader. I don't think that's going to get it done for the Phillies.
No.
However, I do think the trade market in center field is going to heat up. You're going to see guys like Brenton Doyle. You're going to see guys.
I was just reading up about him this morning.
Maybe like Byron Buxton. If the Phillies decide to spend big in sending a package to the Twins for Byron Buxton, because they're going to want a lot in return for Buxton. Dave did say today that, it was a quiet week in the news, but it wasn't a quiet week for him. He was on the phone call. They said they had about 5 trade offers that went back and forth, and then either he hung up on them or the other team hung up on them. So Dave is working the phones. He admitted that to us today.
And
there was at least 5.
When we were there, what happened towards the end?
So right at the end of his little availability, we wrapped up. There was no more questions. He reached into his pocket, looked at his phone, and if you're watching on YouTube, this is exactly what he looked like.
Yeah, and then squandered off somewhere,
and then put it in back in his pocket.
Yeah, and couldn't wait for us to get out.
And if you're listening, it was a very why is this person calling me look? Or startledness, maybe? Yeah. He just kind of looked at it, eyebrows scrunched up a little bit.
It was something interesting, yeah.
So it is good to hear that Dave is working the phones. Which doesn't surprise me. I know he's working the phones. And if you're a Phillies fan listening to this, I would expect something. It could be a small trade. It could be a big trade. Who knows? It could be a medium trade. But I think something will happen for the rest of the offseason for the Philadelphia Phillies in acquiring some sort of talent, whether that's the outfield, whether that's third base, whether that's a starting pitcher. Something's going to happen for the Phillies to kind of push the rest of the offseason going forward and head into spring training in 2026. That's it. I can't speak anymore. And if you're listening, you're probably like, good.
Yeah, please stop.
Good.
No,
good. No, you're exactly right.
A good week. A lot of stuff, but only the solidifying thing that happened was Kyle Schwarber. Really. Bingo. So and there it is.
We're glad it happened. Yeah. I think Kyle was very happy it happened as well. So hey, thanks for listening to the Phillies Talk podcast presented by Team Toyota. We are landing the plane here in the winter meetings. We have a flight to catch tomorrow, but I think some pool times in our future tomorrow. Hopefully the weather's not been great. Today was nice, but hopefully some pool time on Thursday.
We've been inside too much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us and all of our coverage down here at the winter meetings in Orlando for 2025. Thanks for listening once again. We'll talk to you guys next week.